Alright, let's try to solve this problem together. It's an SAT problem. So, if you ever face this problem in your SAT exam, this is how you're going to solve it. At first, it looks very complicated, but by the end of this video, you will realize that, oh, this is not that difficult. You just need to remember some rules and steps. So let's read the problem carefully. We have square root x plus 32 minus square root x equal 4. So let's try to understand what is going on. So basically, this side of the equation means that is equal to 4. How is that possible? It doesn't even look close to give 4. So you are very familiar with the steps that we're going to take next. So what we need to do is simple algebra. Yes, we want to try to get rid of the square root. The square root is the most annoying part of this problem so far. And how are we going to do this? Well, let's start by moving the smallest square root, that is this one. We want to try to move it towards the right side of the equal sign. So let's do the opposite of subtraction, because this minus side is with this square root x over here. So the opposite of subtraction, you will do addition, square root of x. So let's go ahead, and this will be cancel, and let's move it over this side. Square root x. Now let's neatly rewrite this problem so we can see what is going on. Let's write 2x plus 32 equal 4 plus square root x. So now this problem is getting pretty small. Now we need to try to get rid of the square roots. This is easier because the square root, we have a square root on this side and we have a square root on the other side. So this will make it easier to get rid of the square root. And now, how do we get rid of square roots? So here's this little tip that you should remember. Whenever you want to get rid of a square root, you have to apply this rule. You have to square it. This is the only way you can get rid of the square root, using this method over here. Now, let's get rid of the square root, and what we do on one side, we must do on the other side. So we say goodbye to the square root, and we will have x plus 32 equal. And now we have to be careful with this one, because if we get rid of the square, what happens to this 4? We can't do that. That's impossible to do in math. So what we apply with this is similar to this, x plus 4 squared. For example, if you have x plus 4 squared, this doesn't mean x squared plus 4. This is wrong, okay? What this means is that you FOIL. This means x plus 4 2 times, x plus 4 2 times. Now, let's apply this little rule of algebra. I know you remember this rule to this term over here. So let me clear off. I need some space. Let's go ahead and let's FOIL this. We will have 4 plus square root x times 4 plus square root x. So now let's go ahead and distribute the 4 to this here and to this term here. Now 4 times 4 will be 16, and 4 times square root of x will be 4 square root x. Next, we will do this one here. This will give us plus 4 square root x, and we will have square root x times square root x will give me x. Why? Let me quickly explain this reason why. Because if you multiply x times x, or square root x times the square root of x will give you x squared. And remember, how do we get rid of the square root? Basically, you are getting rid of the square root here, so that will give me x. I hope you understand what happened here just now. And now that's the reason we have x here. Next, what we do next is we try to look for like terms. These two here are like terms, so I can go ahead and I can rewrite it. 16 plus 8 square root x plus x, and then let's write x plus 32. So now we have this new equation here. So let's go ahead and let's try to solve it. So now what's the next step? Well, this x over here, I can get rid of this x by doing minus x on this side, and what I do on one side I do on the other side. These two x will cancel. I will have my new equation, 32 equals 16 plus 8 square root x. Now what's the next step? Well, I can move the constants. I can move the 16 to this side by minusing. I can minus this one, and now I can minus 32 minus 16. That will be 2, 1. That's 12 minus 6 is 6, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So now we have 16 equal 8 square root of x. On this side we have 8 times square root x. This is what this term here represents. Now, so how can we isolate the square root x? Well, the opposite of multiplication is division. So we can divide 16 divided by 8, which will give us 2 equal square root x. And now, how can I get rid of the square root? Do you remember the little trick? Well, you can square root and you can square. So this would get rid of the x, and now we will have 2 to the second power, which means 2 times 2. That will give me 4. So this is our final answer. Now let me know down in the comments if you knew how to solve this problem.